Welcome back to this preview episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Yes, welcome back to this preview edition of the Purple Rain podcast on this Friday Eve, episode 215. And boy, do we have a lot of 15s. See K-Dog already starting us off with his 15s. Justin Armour, David Zastadil, Michael Campanella, Ryan Mallett, rest in peace. I want to be K-Dog. Let's go Marquise Brown for a year. Let's go Michael Crabtree, Deshaun Jackson, Laquan Williams, and most recently, Nelson Aguilar. What a signing he has been for that contract, man. I'll tell you what, he's had some clutch catches. He was influential on the drives. I mean, just he's that guy open on a drag route, take it to some yards. But thank you all for coming through this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Death. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Listen, 11 days away. Hope you guys got your Christmas shopping done. If not, might be too late, but you can always, grab something for after. Go on Manscaped. Get that person in your life something, deck the balls, as we like to say. And you go on there, use code PRP for 20% off and free international shipping. But real quick, Sutton, whenever I think of Manscaped, I think of the sponsor in the Octagon. And do we have a big fight coming up this Saturday. We have got to get into that. I know you're ready for it. There's some news that came out today that possibly might make me happy. Somebody backed out and a certain person trying to get in the card. We'll talk about all that later. But
sure.
We're talk Ravens football. Ravens and Jags. Sunday night football again. Prime time. Here we are. That's what happens when you're a good team. They put you in prime time. I guess we can talk about it, but how are you feeling with the Ravens right now? How are you feeling? How's your week going? Start off there.
Week's going well. Week's going very well. Thank you so much. But the Ravens have been kind of I've been a little worried. I saw a couple people tweeting earlier this week about how, it's kind of reminiscent of the 2019 season without the Jackson Fives and the super duper explosive offense, but just solely based on the fact that we might get that number one seed, right? So I've been thinking about that. And is this team, would we be better off not getting the one seed is what I've been kind of like challenging myself with throughout the week. I've been kind of going back and forth with it's just tough. It's just tough. And I really want to get the Rain Gang's opinion on it. So if you're listening live, thank you so much, first of all. But put your opinion down below. Do you think that the Ravens should have the first seed and get that first round bye? Or do you think that they should just carry momentum and just play the wild card round and just keep it going like that? I mean, engineering designs, he kind of is leaning more towards my side. 2 games is better than 3 games, period, at the end of the day, especially in an 18-game regular season or an 18-week regular season. 2 games is better than 3 games when it comes to the playoffs. That one less game, that extra week of rest, you never know who's going to be hurt around that time. You need that time for your players to recoup and recover. So that's where I'm kind of leaning. But I had the same mindset back in 2019 when, we had that first round bye and then we came out flat as ever, in that divisional round against the Titans. We all remember. I mean, J1213 says, no, I think they do better week to week. So it's kind of like we're kind of split in the middle here. Alex, I want to get your take.
Oh my gosh. So I was originally fully against it. Obviously PTSD and obviously it's kind of my biggest thing with the Harbaugh, how to get the guys ready. And we saw how they looked first quarter against the Rams after the bye. Flat. We were losing 3-0, I think, after the first quarter. Said it on Monday. If it's a better team, you might not be coming back from that. But recently, I'm not gonna kind of open up to it. All right, seeing that, hearing Patrick Queen, who I think is one of the leaders on the defense at 24 years old, don't care how anybody thinks about that. I think he's one of the leaders on there, saying how they want the one seed, they want it. I didn't really hear that years ago. It's they're kind of just taking what they give them, but this team is pushing for that. They know why they want to get it. They want to have that home field advantage. They want that week off. So if that's how the whole team feels, man, screw it. I'm behind them because they know a lot more than us. They're in there, day every day. But I do think at the same time, like last year, both one seeds did make the Super Bowl. That's not a coincidence. I think they were the two best teams. And if we are the best team, we will get the one seed, and then we'll have to take it. But right now, I think we're the best team in the AFC. It looks like it. Now that could change, could definitely change, but we still have a lot of improving to do. Our run defense has to improve. Small things offensively have to improve. So if we can get those right at the right time, one seed or not, I like the Ravens.
Question for you: do you know how long the league has been doing the 18-week season? Is this the second year or third year? I can't remember.
Third year.
Third year. Okay, got you. Because you just pointed out something very interesting. You said last year that both the one seeds made it to the Super Bowl, which means that that first round bye actually probably really, really helped them, especially in when you got to play 17 games instead of 18 games. I've been hearing athletes and coaches saying recently that during an NFL season, like every hour counts of rest that you get, how much you're working out, what you're eating, things like that. Like all of that stuff counts. So I wouldn't doubt that one seed nowadays probably is just a little bit more valuable than in years past, especially since only one team per conference gets it now. So let's go ahead. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This is episode 215 of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. It's very, very close to the holidays. You guys could be doing whatever, but you're here listening to us. We appreciate that. We really, really do. Okay. So it's time to get into some of the get into the weeds of this game that we have coming up against the Jaguars on Sunday Night Football. I think it's going to be a very good matchup, very interesting matchup, very important matchup as well in terms of, for seeding purposes, things like that. This is an AFC team we're playing, not an NFC team. It means a little bit more, especially at this point in the season. So we're going to start with the I-word report, the health report, see who's healthy, who's not for the Ravens and the Jaguars. I'll let our guy Alex take it away.
Yep. So let's start with the Ravens. I think the biggest piece of news was Kyle Hamilton, that knee. He's been limited both days, which I think is really, really good news. I know this is an AFC opponent. I wouldn't be mad if he sits out. I really wouldn't. Once again, talking about the last time we were a one seed, Mark Andrews and Mark Ingram were both hurt. I would rather let Hamilton rest up, but him practicing is good news, and I honestly think he has a good chance to play on Sunday. Moving on, Malik Ham, who was in IR, he's coming back from that. He's practiced both days. Malik Harrison's practiced both days. Roquan Smith was limited yesterday, full today. And Tyler Huntley didn't practice today, personal. So hope everything's going on his end. But moving on now to the Jags. They were without a couple of players last week against the Browns, and the Browns low-key were cooking them. Low-key, they were up like 31. They were up big on them. But they have a pretty hefty injury. I-word report, I'm sorry. Receiver Jamal Agnew was limited. Defensive backs Tyson Campbell and Christian Broswell were both limited. Safety Andre Sisco limited. Offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland limited. Running back Travis Etienne Jr. limited. Defensive back Trey Herndon limited. Running back Dearness Johnson limited. Receiver Zay Jones limited. And then Trevor Lawrence practiced in full. And then offensive lineman Walker Little and tight end Brenton Strange were limited. So they are banged up. That was a lot of limiteds going on right there. But the biggest one is Trevor Lawrence was a full participant. He will play, obviously, but he did not look the same last week playing against the Browns. I don't want us to sit here and overlook that because I remember last year we were up on these same damn Jags. And funnily enough, Kyle Hamilton didn't play that game. But they came back. Lawrence was cooking our defense, cooking our secondary, and they came back and they beat us by the hair on our chinny chin chins. Do not take Trevor Lawrence at the Jacksonville Jaguars lightly. They are a good team, and they prove they can beat us down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, totally. They absolutely did. That 1-point loss last year really, really did hurt. I'll get into a very interesting stat a little bit later in the show, so make sure you stick around for that in terms of the history between these two teams. But it's time to get into the Purple Rain preview. I'm going to, again, read off the stats for you guys as I remote today. Ravens. So the Ravens, they are averaging 229 passing yards a game, which is ranked 19th in the league. Rushing for 157 a game, which is still ranked first in the league. Passing yards allowed per game at 180. Rushing yards allowed per game at 104. Points per game, 27.8, which is ranked 4th in the league. Not bad at all. And then points per game allowed at 16.8, which is ranked 2nd. So we fell from first place after letting the Rams score 31 on us last week, which is, I understand that. So if you go over to the Jaguar side of things, they are throwing for 257 passing yards a game, which is ranked 11th in the league, rushing for just about 100 yards per game, which is 24th in the league. They're rushing for 92 yards a game. Well, no, they're allowing 92 rush yards a game. I'm sorry. And they're allowing for 265 passing yards per game. So points per game, they're scoring 24, which is ranked 9th in the league. And then points per game allowed, they're allowing 22.3, which is ranked 20th in the league. So looking at the stats between these two teams, Alex, what do you really see here from the Jaguars? Because, I see that they have some deficiencies running the football, which is what we've seen in recent weeks. I have seen that. And then also, like you said, Joe Flacco has balled out against them. Jake Browning has balled out against them. And neither of those guys can hold a candle to Lamar Jackson right now. We know Flacco with the Super Bowl. We always respect him. But in terms of right now, neither of those guys hold a candle to Lamar Jackson. So we did say the same thing about the Chargers, and we didn't necessarily shred them up either.
Right.
But I think that this could be a good opportunity for the receivers to go off. I'm seeing a good game for Isaiah Likely. I like what I saw from him last week. He had a touchdown, but not much more involvement. On top of that, I expect for them to get him rolling a little bit more. But Alex, what do you see looking at these numbers?
I'm right there with you, and it's got to be with the passing attack. And I'm glad you brought up Isaiah Likely because I think since he's taken over, him and Lamar are really getting on the same page. I saw a stat here. Likely had 7 targets last game, and then in his past 2 games, he's had 9 catches, 142 yards, and 1 touchdown. That is a very, very good trend for him, considering Mark Andrews is out for the season or whatever it is, but he's out for the foreseeable future. I love that for Likely. And then, of course, I'm going to say it. They brought up that damn chart, and guess what receiver in the NFL has created the most separation?
I saw the chart too, man. And Rashad Bateman is the one we're talking about here, and it's just so like I was literally doing some mental gymnastics earlier, Alex. Like just thinking to myself, like, why is this connection not working?
Yep.
Because like they're saying, like we see him get open on the field when we watch him play. Even the stats are showing it. It's showing up in these charts that pop up all over Twitter. But for some reason, Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman just cannot get on the same page. There's no reason why our first round wide receiver from a couple years ago should have 1 touchdown at this point. Week 15 of the season. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But what did you make of it?
I'm right there with you. I'm just very confused of where is it going wrong, what's going on. But let's just hope that connection hits in January and February. That's when it really matters, right? Is for the connection to hit there. And we saw it in 2012. Flacco and Bolden were good during the regular season, but man, when that postseason hit, that's when that connection was going crazy. And if we can do that, I'll be happy with it. If he can get 2 touchdowns in the postseason, that's a good postseason because that means I think Odell's going to cook and I think Zay's going to cook. But talking about Zay, I thought.
Well, real quick before we get into Zay Flowers, you know what I think it may be with Rashad Bateman? You know how Lamar Jackson operates within this Ravens offense? It's a lot of like backyard football style of play, right? Which is very off script, which is very untimely. I think that the type of receiver that Rashad Bateman is, he needs a more on time and on script offense. More concepts to be drawn up for him first and foremost. But, you can see it on kind of like the backyard football plays that Lamar Jackson tries to pull with Rashad Bateman that he would normally pull with other receivers too. Like the one you saw against the Rams where he just kind of throws it up. It's a little bit late. It's not very timely, but it's backyard football. Lamar Jackson is going to give you a chance. He can give you a chance at any time before that whistle is blown and the play is dead. So make sure that you are ready and willing to go ahead and attack the ball. I feel like Rashad Bateman, he's waiting for that timely throw, that timely pass. That's why I feel like Bateman performs better with a guy like Tyler Huntley. Because Tyler Huntley, he's more so, likely to hit that 3-step drop, let it go. Bateman's on time, he's open because we know he's getting separation, he catches it. So maybe just the chemistry or just the type of quarterback Lamar Jackson is doesn't necessarily match with the type of wide receiver that Rashad Bateman is. Am I crazy saying that?
No, because I think about 2021. I think about that's when Huntley, Bateman were playing. I think it was the Steelers game, Week 18. It was like caught a couple of slants over the middle. The Browns game, it was kind of a fade, threw it up, the one that we always know. And then last year, when you think about a touchdown, it was a simple slant, just cooked Xavier Howard, and it was right there on the money. So I think that's a really good point you bring up, and hopefully the coaches realize that and see that, and they can fix this because I see a lot of yards. I see a lot of plays being made between these two. Like, there's no way that we have a guy like Lamar Jackson and a receiver who has the most separation in the NFL, and we cannot get them on the same page. You're professionals. You're going to get this done, and we are going to make it work. And it's going to cook at the right time when we need it to. It was Monday? How we were saying how it could be Owe and Bateman as the two guys that are key pieces down the stretch or in the playoffs. Our 2021 first-round picks, that could be the difference between going all the way and falling short, and I wholeheartedly believe in that. So, come on. Those two guys, they cook at the right time. This team's in good position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right. Let me see. So, what I wanted to bring up was a little bit of history between these two teams. The last 10 matchups, the Ravens, guess the record between these two teams.
Okay.
Guess the Ravens' record against the Jaguars in the last 10 matchups.
So I know they beat us last time. We beat them in 2020. We played them in 2017. We beat them. They beat us in 2015. Are we going back? No, we beat them in 2014, so now we're up one. But I know they beat us on the Monday night game in 09. Is it split? I feel like it's split.
It's split. It's 5-5.
Yes.
But guess what, though? It is back and forth. It's win-loss, 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 win-loss.
Okay.
Literally. And we took the last loss. So if history continues this trend forward, then it means that the Ravens are probably going to get a W this week. That's just looking at the last 10 matchups. It's literally been back and forth, which is crazy to me when I look that up. But let's get into some score predictions for this game, what we think is going to happen, what the final prediction is going to be. I guess I'll go ahead and start. I've been kind of thinking about this all day. I think that the Ravens win. I think that the Ravens get a W this Sunday night. I think it's going to be 34-20 is going to be the final score. I think that's probably the largest margin that I've said for a score prediction for the Ravens this year, to be honest with you. But I believe it comes true. I mean, like you said, they're hobbling into this game. They are fighting for their life right now when it comes to this whole playoff thing. But I just think that the run game is something that gets going this week, to be honest with you. And don't get me wrong, the Jaguars do not have a bad run defense. They do not have a bad run defense. Only allowing about 100 yards per game, not bad at all, to be honest with you. But I do think that Lamar Jackson, he showed me something last week. He showed way more decisiveness. He's willing to tuck that ball and run. He wasn't necessarily standing in the pocket and waiting for something that wasn't there to get open. If it wasn't there, he was taken off. And teams have a really hard time dealing with that, on top of the fact that our receivers are better this year too. So I just think that we're going to put the Jaguars in a little bit of a bind. Late in the game, I think we pull ahead. I think it's close for maybe the first half, right? And then in the second half, I think we pull away. But yeah, that's going to be my score prediction, 34-20 Ravens. What's yours?
Well, the A-Pro 123 read my mind, or I read his mind. 31-20 Ravens. I do like going over 30, and I like us putting up over 30. I mean, them putting up only 20. I think actually I have it not as comfortable. I have it, kind of being a game for 3 quarters, and then it's that vintage run down your throat, and we score a touchdown and kind of ice the game. But
yeah,
I like a lot what you said. I think this would be the week. Not sure how weather conditions are, but I need one of our running backs to cook. I need to see over 100-yard rusher, not named Lamar Jackson. I know Lamar probably hasn't put up 100 all year, but I want it to be a running back to really put up the yards this week. I think Keaton was the last one to do it against the Seahawks, probably. Yeah, probably against the Seahawks. Go ahead and do it again, Keaton. Take over this running back. It's all yours.
No, yeah, I really like that, and that's actually going to be one of my keys to victory as well. I mean, home run plays at the running back position, that matters. when we were getting, like I said on Monday's episode, I felt the best about this Ravens team this year when Keaton Mitchell was breaking off those big runs. I felt like we were unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because if Keaton Mitchell's doing that, and you all of a sudden have to worry about, on top of Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, who I know is not with us anymore, for the season at least, Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., Bateman, all those guys, you have to worry about this Keaton Mitchell kid out of the backfield who has absolute burner speed, and can get around your whole defense. He can burn your DBs. That was going to put defenses in more of a bind again. And so that's going to be one of my keys to victory is making sure that, we get some home run plays at the running back spot. What's one of your keys to victory?
Yeah, and I think about what you just said, the home run plays along with Keith Mitchell. That Gus Edwards, he had the 80-yard screen and run. I mean, that was one of them.
Oh, yeah,
or Gus breaking off 20-yard runs. He was breaking off 20s against Seahawks. He had a couple of nice 15-yard runs as well. One of my keys to victories, though, pressuring Trevor Lawrence, getting to him, making it felt Clowney, Van Noy, Owe, looking at you guys. I thought Owe had a pretty good game last week, was pretty disruptive. Didn't show up on the stat sheet, but he was definitely making his presence known. Then Van Noy as well. I think Van Noy had the play to really give us some momentum. It was, I think, like a screen or a run. He absolutely laid out a ram and really gave the defense some juice. But those guys just kind of making Trevor Lawrence uncomfortable because it's obvious he's not 100%. Healthy Trevor Lawrence and the Jags win that game last week. Instead, they lose it. So that's number one. I go for number two as well. Looking at our linebackers, go play fast, physical, and like your hair is on fire. They already do that. That's nothing that we don't know. But I'm looking at PQ. I'm looking at Rowe. I'm like, one of them's going to get a turnover, either a forced fumble or a pick. It's been too long since our linebackers got a pick. So I think this could be the week for that to change.
Okay. I like that. For me, it's going to be interior D-line play, to be honest with you, man. I mean, when it comes to our run defense, like I've said this over and over again this season, it's been suspect. It has. Kyron Williams rushed for over 100 yards. Jerome Ford rushed for over 100 yards. Before this season, I'm not so sure a whole lot of people knew who either of those guys were, to be honest with you. At least a casual fan. So it's just not it's not, the run defense is not as stout as I'm accustomed to it being, and I need that to be changed because come playoff time, when it's cold outside, teams will run the ball. And if they get the slightest hint or inkling that our interior D-line is soft and they can do that, they're going to take full advantage. Next thing you know, they're hitting us over the top, and it's not going to be pretty. So interior D-line play is going to be a big one for me.
Yeah. I mean, this could be the week that the Dominican Sooo the Baltimore train could get a little bit bigger, or it could just shut up. I prefer for it to shut up because that means we don't have weakness, or maybe we're just, putting paper over the cracks. But I do like that as well. I mean, Broderick Washington, Madubuike, Michael Pierce, mainly
Travis
Michael
Jones.
Pierce. I mean, tell you what, Travis Jones, I think, all right, this could be a hot take. I think he's played well enough for the Ravens to think about Michael Pierce next year. Like, are we going to keep him on the team? I thought Travis Jones has played that well. He feels like he's gotten better week in and week out. And then Madubuike as well. It's just it's just the price is going up every week. And you just see it happening.
It is. Right. That's why it makes it even more important for us to take advantage of the season. I mean, this is our window. The window is wide open for the Ravens right now. Yeah. It's like, look, we just signed Lamar Jackson. His cap hit is not going to start bothering us really until the next couple of years, right? So we have to make the most out of what we have now before we have to start, kind of disposing of some of our players, some of our talent. That's the window is shrinking. Like, we need to win this season, honestly. I'm being honest with you, man. Okay, let's see. We have our first super chat donation. This one's coming from Chike. Appreciate you. We thank you for dropping the 2-piece in the chat. It says, how badly do we need Ndamukong Suh on a scale from 1 to 10?
Maybe I'll go like a 5. I'll go midway. I'll take that answer. I feel like last week it kind of showed more so than others. Yeah. Because I think in weeks prior, probably when we were kind of up on teams, it was kind of garbage time. But when they came out and just drove the first play on us, the first drive, 7 straight plays of running, that's when I was like, all right, this
This is a
isn't
problem.
our backups are in. Right. This isn't we have in guys who, don't get a lot of playing time. Like, all right, this is kind of a problem. But like you said, this
Yeah.
could be the week for them to really kind of fight back and show it. Because look at the running back should be playing in the playoffs. Nick Chubb's not there. I don't want to see the Browns, but it'd be Jerome Ford, who already was pretty good against us. The Colts, Zach Moss, he cooked us. We won't talk about that, but like 130 on our heads.
Right.
The Chiefs, Pacheco's hurt. The Bills, they don't really run the ball.
No.
Other teams. The Dolphins, Mostert has had a career revival.
And A-Chain.
Yes. But yeah, I would prefer for it to not be a problem. Well, I'll go 5.
Yeah. In terms of, I think 5 is a pretty good answer there. Yeah. I might say 6, just because 6 or 7, to be honest. And the only reason I'm saying that is because, again, the window is right here and it's shrinking. So whatever needs to be done in order to make sure that we have everything that we need, we've done everything in our power to shore up all the fronts, then, I think that we should go ahead and do that. But I do like in my Harbaugh voice, I do like our guys.
Yeah, and like Ruchez, we got to do the damn thing, and we do. And you talking about the window as well. Here's what I'm going to talk about. What EDC has done, hitting on all these 1-year deals, it's hard to replicate that. And that's kind of why I'm right there with you for this year. And who would have thought Clowney, Vanaway, Aguilar, with all how the seasons they're having. Hell, Odell's on pace to put up over 700 yards. I was not expecting 700 yards from Odell for this year. I was expecting maybe 500 and like 3 to 4 touchdowns. But he's shown up when we really need him. I'm right there with you. The window, this is the year.
Yeah. Let's see. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from the Don. The Don dropping the 10-piece in the chat, making it rain here on episode 215 of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you, Don. We appreciate you. Says, just doing my part to feed the PRP children. Please hit that like and subscribe. Alex and Sutton, always my favorite part of Thursday is hanging out with my PRP fam. Thank you so much, Don. We appreciate that. All love. We appreciate you. You are a Purple Rain pioneer. You know this. We appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's continue on here. I want to, before we get into our picks, right?
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the Ravens playoff clinching scenarios.
Let's do it.
There's a couple of them. There's a bunch of them, actually.
First one in the AFC, by the way.
Yeah.
First team.
All of them include a Baltimore win, obviously. So one of them has a Baltimore win, a Denver loss or tie, and a Buffalo loss or tie. Another one has a Denver loss or tie, and a Cleveland loss or tie. So I'm seeing a trend with a lot of these. Denver has to lose. Either Denver or Buffalo has to lose this week. And then if Cleveland or Pittsburgh lose, we're good.
I want the one where the Browns lose. I need the Browns to lose.
Yeah, because there's so Denver and Cleveland lose and Baltimore win. Okay.
Yep, that's the one I want the most. And guess what?
Or what about Buffalo lose and Cleveland lose?
Hey, that's even better.
That's even better.
But the best thing for the Ravens is we can wake up on Monday or Sunday night and we know we're in the playoffs. Monday could be a victory Monday and a playoff clinching Monday episode of the Purple Rain podcast. That's the best part. Like we'll know before the game even starts. Like, hey, we win this game, we are in the playoffs. And like that right there, like that's the first step. Then you gotta win the North. Then you gotta win the playoff games. Then you win the whole thing. You do the damn thing at the end, but one step at a time. Getting the playoffs is the first step because right now we've seen crazier things happen. We went from 9-4. No, we went from 8-3 to 8-9. All right, so we've seen crazier things. Just get in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So Alex, I think it's time to go ahead and get into the picks for this week. NFL Week 15, isn't it? Week 15?
Week 15. Oh. It's 15. And talk about a toilet bowl tonight.
Yeah, real bad game tonight. But before we get into the games, I got to tell you guys about what happened last week. Last week was not the greatest week for me and Alex's picks. We'll admit that. So last week I hit on 53% of the picks, and Alex hit on 46% of the picks. And you know what's funny? Funny enough, I was right last Thursday on the show when we predicted who did the Raiders play? The Raiders played the
Vikings.
The Vikings, right? And 3-0. 3-0 that game was. You picked the Raiders. I picked the Vikings. And I said that's going to be a funny one to, recap the next week. That game ended 3-0. 3-0. Absolute toilet bowl there. But that was where you were wrong and I was right. And that's why we have the difference there. Other than that, we were pretty much the same picks on everything else. But there were a couple upsets. A couple upsets last week for sure. So let's go ahead and get into the Week 15 picks. I'm ready.
All right. Starting off tonight. I mean, who would have thought the Easton Stick and Aiden O'Connell masterclass of the game tonight? All right, on Thursday night. He's here just having fun. Michael's just like, dude, I've been doing this for too long. I'm sick of this shit. You know what? I guess the Raiders, Keenan Allen isn't playing. I know Josh Jacobs isn't playing for the Raiders, but Tay Adams, he can turn water into wine. He can do it all if you give him the chance. So I guess the Raiders. I don't know. I'm just saying I guess the Raiders.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm gonna go with the Raiders in this one too. It does put even more of a damper on things that Josh Jacobs isn't playing in this one. But the Chargers really do look like they're unraveling. It seems like Brandon Staley is kind of like deer in headlights right now. And I think that continues tonight, especially without his star quarterback. It's going to be even more of an indictment on Staley. So give me the Raiders. Yeah.
Next up, the Vikings and the Bengals. I remember this game in 2021. That was like the Burrow and Chase week one. They came out and made a statement. And that was such a good game. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be Jake Browning, who has been balling out. And who's starting for the Vikings now? They put their other backup in because Josh Dobbs got benched. Is it Sudfield?
Nick Mullins.
Oh, Nick Mullins. Yes, Nick Mullins. So Mullins is going to be the quarterback. I like the Bengals, unfortunately, in this. I like Jake Browning. I like what he's done. And he's shown me something. So give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals in this one, too, for pretty much all the same reasons. Jake Browning, again, hasn't made the mistakes, and he's looked pretty decent to this point. And, the Vikings kind of spiraling. 3 points last week. Quarterback disarray. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Bengals in this one.
All right, next up, Boz. How you doing, my boy? Steelers and Colts. 4:30. Oh, these are Saturday. Oh, this is Saturday. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's three games on Saturday,
game.
I think.
Yeah, it was Saturday. Last one. Okay, Saturday games have me in hell because last year we were playing the Browns on Saturday. We put 3 points. I remember that. That was awful against them.
Yeah.
But this one, Colts and Steelers. Jonathan Taylor isn't playing. I mean, but this is the same Steelers who have lost to 2-10 teams back-to-back weeks, and that means they're playing a fellow team in the playoffs, which means they're playing probably a superior opponent, which means they should probably beat them, or they should lose to them, but they're going to beat them. And that's why I'm picking the Steelers here. Future Washington Commanders coach Mike Tomlin, all right, will have them boys ready to play. Give me the Steelers.
I think this is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the Colts in this one. I'm sorry. Week after week after week, I've been betting on the Steelers, and they've been losing, and I just cannot continue to experience the same sort of heartbreak when it comes to my picks. So, no, I'm going with the Colts in this one, man. The Steelers don't really like much of anything that they have going on. They have no juice, no electricity at all in that city, or at least in that football team. So, yeah, give me the Colts. Sorry, Boz.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Steeler fan right now, and this is talking from a Ravens fan that was watching Tyler Huntley. Do you want to get in the playoffs? Are you going to make noise? Honestly. I was surprised that we kept it so close to the Bengals last year with Huntley. This was the same team that had a receiver catch a passing touchdown for the first time in how many weeks? We weren't putting up over 20 points. We knew we weren't going to win the Super Bowl, but we were this there for the fucking vibes. And we made the best out of it. And we were still heartbroken. So, I don't know, but I just feel like this is a typical game that Steelers should lose, but they'll win it. the same way they somehow beat us in week 5. I don't know why. I've been watching the Steelers way too much. Our night game, though, I think this is now a good game. The Broncos and the Lions, 8:15 p.m. I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm taking the Lions in this one at home. You know, they have been kind of, again, on fraud watch lately, like you mentioned the other day.
Yeah.
But I think they bounce back in this one. I think Dan Campbell has those boys ready to go. That pass protection is still pretty damn good. And I think Jared Goff, he's not hurt, right?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Yeah. Give me the Lions in this one. I know you got the Lions too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close one though. I don't know if CJ Gardner-Johnson's gonna play. I know he might.
Yeah.
He might be coming back, but yeah, I like the Lions in this one. I think you got to win this year on primetime again, and you haven't gotten many primetime games as a Detroit. But just Goff, man, limit the turnovers and stop playing like a goddamn goofball. All right, on a Sunday. Giants and the Aints. The legend of Tommy DeVito grew. And I do want to take just a little bit of a rant real quick. How the hell did Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito get AFC and NFC Players of the Week? I didn't see it. I thought Lamar and Purdy robbed, but our teams are looking for something else. You know, we don't want the Player of the Week. We want the whole thing. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna go with the Giants here. It's in New Orleans, but the Saints haven't showed me anything. I've seen Derek Carr getting yelled at by his linemen. I've seen Derek Carr getting booed off the sideline. And I've seen his receivers frustrated. I'm going to go with the Giants here.
Ooh. I am going to go with the Saints in this one. I just don't think that there's much. The Giants have showed fight. They've showed scrappiness. And Tommy DeVito, I think he brings a cool energy in there. I think he rushed for like 70 yards last game or something like that. So he's a threat. He's a threat in multiple different ways, but it's just something about the Giants, dude. It's just, I don't know. They just don't strike me as a team to just show up when you expect them to show up. You know what I mean? When you expect them to show up, that's when they won't. And I think that's what happened this week. That's what will happen this week. So give me the Saints.
All right. I like it. I respect it. Next up, a game that we are going to be keeping our eyes on, the Bears and the Browns. Low-key kind of like, I want to say a trap game because these are the same Bears who had a really good win over the Lions last week. Unfortunately, though, I think the Browns, I know they have all these I words. I think they know what they're playing for. And I think Stefanski is a good coach compared to what they had in recent years. I think they win this game against the Bears, unfortunately. Although, Justin Fields, what do you have for me? Show me something. They counted you out one. Prove them wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with the Browns in this one, too. I think that they are kind of rallying around Joe Flacco. That defense is still what it is. So, yeah, give me the Browns. But listen, we do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from Mod Rouge himself, the Purple Rain Pioneer. Thank you so much, Rouge. We appreciate that and everything that you do. It says, making it rain on this fine PRP evening. Prayers up to you. We appreciate that, brother. We really do.
Oh, my brother. Thank you so much. Do the damn thing. Rouge. All right. Next up, we have the Falcons and the Panthers. I don't want to talk too much about this because tickets for this game are going for 45 cents.
Ooh. You lying.
2 quarters. I saw, I could be wrong, but somebody posted like 45 cents for all the way up. Like nosebleeds.
That's
not
okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one too. The Panthers, they're not unraveling. They've completely unraveled. Their season is over. Yeah, not much to say about them. I don't even think they want to win at this point, to be honest. Yeah.
Next up, kind of a good game. Buccaneers and the Packers in Green Bay. I don't like Todd Bowles, but I do somehow like these Buccaneers. I think they pull it off. I know the Packers coming off that tough L, but I like the Bucs in this game. I like the Bucs. Give me that.
Yeah. Man, as much as I want to take Jordan Love and the Packers, I really do. I don't know if Christian Watson is back this week. Is he back this week?
I haven't heard much about him yet.
I haven't either. I don't think he's I don't think he's going to play. I feel like I would have seen that. Damn. Do I really want to go against the Packers? You know what?
Nope. He's not going to play.
Who do you got again? You don't have the Packers. Okay.
I have the Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
Mayfield.
Give me the Bucks.
Mickey Mayfield.
I don't feel great about it. That's the thing. Like, I feel like the Packers can pull this one out, but there is something about the Bucks. I mean, Baker has been supercharged lately. It feels like he's found his home in Tampa, you know, and that's important. So give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
You send my ass to Florida, give me a couple fucking million. It's my home too. I'm gonna love it. I would love it. You send me to Florida, give me that money. Oh man,
He's
on the water.
Confidence.
Right. Like, you go from playing in Cleveland for a couple of years, no disrespect, to Tampa.
Yeah.
You had a little stint in LA, little getaway. Now, like, you want this to be your home. I don't blame you. Wearing creamsicles as well. And I think the Packers, if they were a real team, they would have won on Monday. Like, them winning on Monday would have had them in a great spot to take over the NFC North because the Lions dropped the game. The Vikings are not the same team. And they blew it. They blew their chance. Next up, the Jets and the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Dolphins here. Even though the Jets had a good win, I like the Dolphins over.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins. They are going to be absolutely positively pissed off after what happened on Monday night. Giving up a 14-point lead in the last 3 minutes of the game, there's no way you don't come out and play that next week with your hair absolutely on fire. And I'm talking about the blue fire, the hottest kind, right? So, yeah, give me the Dolphins in this one. Give me a Tyreek, 150 yards receiving, and a touchdown.
The Dolphins did their best Ravens impression, blowing the game.
But then again, Tyreek Hill is hurt. He did have a heel or something like that. I do remember him going down with that. What's his status, I wonder?
I'm not too sure. What is it looking? I'm looking at the news for him right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh.
Yeah.
There's really no.
Because he came back into the game and he had a few more catches, made a few more plays. He didn't practice.
Mike McDaniel said they're going to look at it in the big picture.
Ooh, but you know what? I'm going to pick the Jets. I'm switching my pick. I'm switching my pick because I think that the Jets defense is still for real, to be honest. And I think that the pass rush, I think they get after Tua, they rattle him a little bit. And especially if Tyreek doesn't play, on top of them getting pressure on Tua, that's going to completely stymie their offense. And I just, I can see the Jets pulling one out, especially with Zach Wilson maybe regaining a little bit of confidence after last week. They may rally around him a little bit. Give me the Jets in a close one.
I think you're spinning. I'm going to stay with my pick, but I can see the Jets winning now. That's a really good point you brought up. And Andrew Sakara says Dolphins O-line is all messed up. Several players hurt. Center out for season. Hell, they signed Skura to help. Don Royal, Tua threw 2 interceptions against the Jets. Tua turned it down. That's facts. Jets line might keep them alive. Yeah, you know what you guys are spitting. I'm going to stay with the Dolphins, but a Jets upset does not surprise me here at all. Moving on, Chiefs and Patriots. I'm not going to think twice about this. Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City, they're going to be double pissed off, and there's nothing that the Patriots can do about it. So, give me the Chiefs.
Yeah. Next up, Texans and the Titans. Davis Mills against Will Levis. Actually, here, I'm going with the Titans. I like that win. And I like them playing the Texans without C.J. Stroud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no C.J. Stroud. Yeah, you're right. In Tennessee. Yeah, I'll take the Titans in this one. I'll take the Titans.
Okay. All right, next up, Niners-Cardinals.
Yeah, Niners.
Yeah, Niners for me as well. Commanders and the Rams. Love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Man, after playing the Rams last week, that's a damn good football team. I'm not going to lie. That is a good football team. You can tell that Matthew Stafford is worth his contract. Those receivers they have, Cooper Kupp is that dude. Puka Nacua is that dude, no gloves, out there making spectacular catches like it's nothing. And the Commanders, they just can't seem to get it together at all. Really just fell apart in the second half of the season. So yeah, give me the Rams in this one. I'll take the Rams.
Yep, right there with you. Next up, Cowboys and the Bills. I'll tell you what, Bills showed me something last week, but the Cowboys showed me a little bit more. I think the Cowboys are a top. I think they're a top. I mean, they just beat the Eagles. They're a top 3 team in the league. I like the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, let me get the Cowboys, especially since the Bills are so one-dimensional. It's just going to be a field day for Micah Parsons and friends. They're going to get to rush the passer pretty much all game. We know the Bills don't really run the ball that much or effectively at all, so they're going to have a lot of opportunities. I'm expecting a good amount of sacks coming out of that game and a good amount of turnovers too. I can see some turnovers, and I can see the Cowboys running away with this one. And then after this game, everybody's going to anoint the Cowboys as, Super Bowl front runners, things like that. But yeah, I'll take the Cowboys in this one.
Yep. And the final game, obviously we play Sunday night. We preview that. Final game is the Eagles and the Seahawks in Lumen Field. Gino is still kind of battling the I word. Could be Drew Lock again. Don't matter. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are exhausted, man. So many tough matchups they're coming off of. What is it? Chiefs, Bills, Cowboys. There's another team they played in there too. Can't remember, but they've been going through an absolute gauntlet of opponents at this point in the season. But I'm still going to take the Eagles in this one again. The Seahawks, not all there at the moment. Like we said, Gino, there's questions about his health. So yeah, give me the Eagles, especially coming off of 2 losses.
That's our pick for Week 15. Thank you all for joining us. Much appreciated there. And yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new and enjoy the content.
Yes.
Now, all right, if you have any questions, fantasy questions, betting questions, all that good stuff, you can slide them in the chat. I want to talk to you about UFC 296. Yes. I don't know why. Okay. I just have this weird birdie inside of me that for some reason Covington's going to win. I'm not a big fan either of the guys fighting. I just think he's going to win. I don't know why. Probably because I really just dislike him and he's going to talk his trash like he always does. But I want to hear what you think. I need to hear you're the voice of the reasoning for UFC. Let me hear
Yeah,
it.
you're not wrong to have that feeling about Colby Covington because I was thinking about the exact same thing earlier this week. I mean, Colby's the type of fighter where he's got a hell of a chin, and he can just grind you out for 25 minutes, which is 5 rounds, championship fight. We've seen him do it time and time again. His cardio is amazing. He doesn't necessarily have knockout power at all, really, but he just punches with so much volume. Like he's always throwing something in your face. You always have to worry about, different strikes. And then he likes to back up against the cage, and he's a great wrestler as well. Definitely a better wrestler than Leon Edwards is. But the difference is Leon Edwards he's such a good striker that he can catch Colby Covington if he's not careful enough, and sometimes Colby can come in with some wild shots, and I can definitely see this fight being ended by a TKO due to a knee from Leon Edwards. And actually, that's going to be my prediction here, is a knee that knocks out Colby Covington or at least stops him. But yeah, it's going to be a great fight, to be honest. Colby is one of my favorite fighters just because of his fight style. I mean, like I said, always entertaining, always throwing something, always either shooting for a takedown, throwing jabs, things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Leon Edwards in that fight. Should be great though. Should be great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but it's like, oh, my Siri popped up. I just had this weird feeling inside of me. Kind of talking about the rest of the card as well. I'm keeping my eyes on Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett. Paddy the motherfucking Batty fighting again finally. I think Paddy's gonna win that, but I just want to hear from you.
Yeah, I want Tony Ferguson to win this fight so bad. I mean, Tony Ferguson, he's on a 5-loss streak right now. if he loses this fight, he's not going to be coming back to the UFC. It's going to be over. And he's put his body through absolute hell and high water to get back to this point and get back in that octagon. Like I was telling you on an episode a couple weeks ago, he was training with former Navy SEAL David Goggins, famous guy who is just super motivated, dedicated, in shape, that sort of thing. So he put Tony Ferguson through his quote unquote hell week and pretty much broke his body down. They were working out nonstop. And now Tony Ferguson is like a totally different guy. But on the other hand, you got Paddy Pimblett, who is kind of rising up through the ranks just a little bit. I mean, he's had his ups and downs in the UFC thus far in his career. I personally don't think that he's all that great, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Ferguson is a little bit on the older side, so I could see this going to decision and Paddy Pimblett kind of edging him out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Paddy because he just, he's entertaining to me. But yeah, you're definitely right there. Then I saw Vicente Luque and the Ian Gary fight got canceled, and then I saw Luque and Kevin Holland were talking about it on Twitter, and dude, that would just make me so happy. Like Kevin, he's gonna lose Kevin Holland if he were to do it, but just I respect how him coming in last minute. It just that just makes me happy.
Yeah, big mouth trailblazer Kevin Holland. He's definitely one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC, and he really rose to fame over the pandemic when they were having those shows in the Apex Arena where there was no crowd, so you could hear everything going on in the octagon. And he's such a talker. He talks throughout the fight. Doesn't matter that he's in a cage match with his shirt off with another grown man trying to separate each other from consciousness. Doesn't matter. He's still making jokes. He's still being friendly, things like that. And it's just hilarious to see and watch on TV. But if that fight were to happen, if Holland were to step in and fight Luque, I think that Holland loses that fight, probably by decision. I think it's only a 3-round fight anyway. So, they probably go all 15 minutes, and Luque probably grinds him out, outstrikes him a little bit, and that's how that one goes. But, I mean, super disappointing that Ian Gary had to drop out of this fight. I don't like Ian Gary. I used to. But ever since his antics before his Neil Magny fight and after the Neil Magny fight, he's just really fell out of favor with me. But that's what I think about that.
Okay, cool. I mean,
was there any other? I don't think on that card. I mean, there's the Brandon Royval versus Alexander Pantoja fight, which I think will be a very underrated fight. Too small. I think they're featherweights. Or no. They're flyweights, I want to say. That's going to be a good one. Those guys always come to scrap. Super entertaining fighters, both of them. So don't sleep on the small guys. But hey, we do have a super chat donation. Okay. This one's coming from Chike. Appreciate you so much, Chike, for donating to the show. Dropping the 5-piece in the chat. Says, do you think the Broncos can win the AFC West? Also, if the Cowboys get a pick six or a strip sack on the opening play and get a touchdown, this will be ugly. I agree with that second sentence. For sure, because we do know they are front runners. They like to, get defensive scores, things like that early, and just kind of take the win out of the opposing team's sails very early. And it's just kind of how they roll. But we have seen as well when they get into they faced a little bit of adversity this season. I can't remember exactly who they played, where it kind of came down to a close game, but they ended up pulling it out. But in terms of the first question, a little bit more nuanced. Let's see. Do you think the Broncos can win the AFC West? No, only because I feel like the Chiefs are still right there. The Chiefs are still right there. The last 2 games, they went 0-2, but I think that they could have easily went 2-0 in their last 2 games. So they're still going to be right there at the end of the season. They're going to win their last couple of games. I don't think their schedule is that hard at all. I'm going to take the Chiefs to still win the AFC West.
Yeah, they're going to win out. They're going to beat the Patriots. They're going to beat the Raiders. They're going to beat the Bengals. Raiders and Bengals games are at home at Arrowhead. They're going to win those. My thing with the Chiefs, Matt Nagy as their OC just isn't it from a neutral. Give me more Rashee Rice. Give me less everybody else. Don't throw it to Kadarius Toney. You try to just gadget him in because he has a hands problem. I mean, I know he had the great punt return last year in the Super Bowl, but he has a hands problem. But yeah, that's just the problem there. But they're so easily fixable. Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches of all time. They'll make the playoffs. They'll be fine. I do agree with you with the Cowboys there. It could get ugly, especially the way Josh Allen he'll play. When the game gets away from him, he kind of loses his head. I just felt Aaron Balls. I'm surprised Stephon Diggs hasn't requested a trade yet, to be honest. I think this could be the year. If they miss the playoffs this year, I think it could be the blowing up of the Buffalo Bills as we know. But yeah, my response to that.
That's kind of crazy too. If they actually blew it up in Buffalo.
I mean, I feel like Diggs would like request a trade out.
Yeah, after last season, after what we saw happen in that divisional game against the Bengals, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him because it seems like he is kind of fed up there, despite what we see on TV. Because when we see they're doing good, it's all good with Josh Allen and everything. Like, that's my boy, but it does feel like something's going on. I think his brother even came out. Trayvon Diggs even came out and said something about it a couple of weeks ago, right? So they're having conversations. Trayvon and Stephon, that's happening. They're brothers. So. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think that Trayvon will be tweeting that if Stephon did not feel that way at all. You know what I mean? Like if his brother did not feel that way at all, that wouldn't make sense. But
hey, Stephon Diggs has Maryland pride. Went to UMD is all I'm gonna say. Like, we're gonna have some openings. We got a couple of
contending
receivers
in Maryland.
There's gonna be some receivers. I think 3 of our receivers are gonna be unrestricted free agents. Stephon Diggs, do you like the crab cakes? I think you do. You're from here. Come on. You have Maryland pride. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chike, again for your super chat donation. What's going on, Braden? Appreciate you for coming through. Boz says, "Who do you have in the Pantoja fight, Sutton?" I've got Pantoja. I've got Pantoja, and the reason why I have him is because I think he is more of a brawler, and I think when with these smaller guys, right? They don't have like the crazy knockout power, but the guys who are willing to go after it more, I think that they tend to have more success. I mean, the ones who are more aggressive because they're still technical. Those guys at those lighter weights, they're very, very technical, way more skilled than heavyweight fighters are, especially when it comes to striking. Because you have to be, because your opponent is always going to be lightning quick. But Pantoja, he's lightning quick. He's a warrior. He's reckless, but he's still technical as well, all the same. And that's kind of like the perfect storm, especially that division. So give me a Pantoja. Let me see what other questions we have here. Let me see. The April 123 says thoughts on Draymond Green's suspension.
Warranted.
Yeah, very warranted for sure. That it's just getting ridiculous at this point, to be honest with you. What he did to Yusuf Nurkic the other night was just absolutely egregious. And he tries to play it off and say like, "Oh no, it wasn't intentional." Bro, you threw a whole spinning back fist. He should be fighting this Saturday night, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, he should be a part of UFC 296. Draymond Green should be on the marquee versus somebody else. I don't know who. Get him in celebrity boxing, something, because obviously he does not want to play basketball. Dude can barely score. He can barely score 10 points anymore at this point in his career. He can barely score 10, but he knows how to throw spinning back fists. He knows how to put guys in rear naked chokes. Dana White, pick up the phone. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you this: WWE could use him. He's gonna make a cameo in the World Wrestling Entertainment after his playing career is over. Believe that, 1,000,000% will. I thought it's a long time coming. I thought it was gonna happen way before this. The whole stuff with Jordan Poole, like he literally, like we all saw the video of him and Jordan Poole. That was just straight a knuckle sandwich. That's what it was to Jordan Poole. Now,
oh my god,
this like,
no.
And then last year he stepped on Sabonis, right?
The Poole punch was a Superman punch. That's a Superman.
Oh yeah,
punch. That's another MMA move. Like, bro, that's 3 MMA moves right there. I could put together a whole
his feet, stepping on people.
Yeah,
he can use his legs.
Oh my gosh, man! He's got the nut shots. That happens in MMA. Oh my goodness! I don't know
Draymond against Jake Paul.
I see Draymond.
Draymond against Nate Robinson.
Oh my gosh! Draymond should just switch sports at this. Yeah, I agree. To be honest, he obviously doesn't want to hoop. Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it there. Actually, you know what? Spooky J has a question. He says favorite Christmas song. Also, F Flacco. He switched up. Yeah, it was time. It was time with Flacco. You know it, Spooky
Good
J.
old Joseph.
But Favorite
Hey, Scooby
Christmas
J.
song? I'll probably say I'll probably say All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey.
How about the one I hear the least? Any of them. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I haven't been in the Christmas spirit in a while. I know. You know, a good one was when DMX did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's always a classic. The DMX
Yeah.
record.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
gonna
all I
be a good
got for you.
Christmas this year, though.
I'm not a
It's gonna
big
be a good
Christmas.
Christmas. We're
It
gonna get
will.
into this.
It will.
We're gonna get into the spirit, Alex, on these next couple of episodes. It's gonna be
You're
great.
right.
We got some big games coming up. Some huge games coming up. So
You
we
know
will
what?
be here. Christmas Day, obviously, we'll have to figure out the stream before that. But it's gonna be a great time, a great holiday season. Make sure you spend all this time, with your families. If you have the time to listen to us, again, thank you. You could literally
Thank
be doing anything else, but you are listening to us. We appreciate that. We really do. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Just like you see down below. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow this guy over here on Twitter at SimplyAS10 or on Instagram at simplyas10.prod, and pretty much anywhere else, just at simplyas10. And then, like we led the episode with, Manscaped. Christmas is right around the corner. Not even right around the corner. We've already turned the corner. We can see we're literally staring
Yeah.
Christmas in the
Yeah.
face. We're staring Christmas in the face right now. If you have not ordered your Manscaped, literally, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go on manscaped.com right now. Like, literally, leave the video. Leave the video, go on Manscaped.
Yeah,
But wait, before you leave the video, use the code PRP to save yourself 20% off, plus free international shipping. We'd appreciate that. Again, thank y'all so much for coming out to this episode. My name is Sutton Def, and with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
I think to get the Christmas spirit, I think I'll pop up with the Christmas hat next episode. That's what we're doing. Victory Monday. I'm popping out the Christmas hat on. We'll do that.
You want to do Christmas hats? Yeah, let's do that.
I think we have to. I think we have to.
Yeah.
Thank you again for everybody coming out to the show. Truly appreciate it. Hope to see you guys on Victory Monday and on the Monday in which we are clinching the play. Clinchmas. We can clinch this weekend. It's gonna happen.
Ooh.
Putting out there, getting all the good vibes out there. As always, thank you for coming through. Episode 215 of the Purple Rain Podcast. As always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and like the Don says here, never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 215 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys